The ANC in the Northwest says today's focus will be on rebuilding the party. The provincial ANC is holding the second leg of its elective conference, and Secretary Louis Diremelo says renewal and gender equality are priorities.
It will be organizational building. We need to go back and rebuild our organization. It will be a new document that which is going to be presented by Ukomrete, Deputy Minister Masondo, which will be on renewal and issues of gender in the organization. Those are our top issues that we must work on. Because we need to say things that we've been doing in the past, things that we've been taking the ANC to court and so forth and coming back. Now we are born again. We are no longer doing it. We are now focused in building the organization.
eNCA's Moloko Moloto is covering this story now. He joins us now. He's in Rustenburg. Moloko, now we have heard that the ANC said it's all systems go now from the last press briefing, and we heard from Obed Bapele again reiterating, calling for unity and rebuilding of the ANC, especially in the Northwest, where the party has lost electoral or had electoral decline. But also he mentioned that there are 78 delegates that did not attend the conference, and he especially placed focus on 5 from the Women's League, and saying that they didn't have any apology whatsoever for missing the conference. But what's the latest there from your side?
So, Baron, since the dissolution of the Provincial Executive Committee that was led by Subra Mahuma Pelo sometime in 2018, this province has really never had a formal structure at the provincial level, but also at the regional level. And to a point wherein the provincial interim structure that was chaired by Hlomane Chauke overstayed its welcome. In terms of the constitution of the ANC, they had to be in office for about 3 months or so, but they went way beyond. That is why the court even found that they really were not going to vote in this ongoing provincial conference to elect new leaders. Of course, the issues of courts, there are members of the ANC who are unhappy with the processes as they have been unfolding here since 2 weeks back when the top 5 leaders of the ANC were elected. They have now taken the matter to the Constitutional Court. Now, we heard earlier from Dakota Lekwete, who is the National Executive Committee member of the ANC, talking about that those members of the ANC who may not want to continue or who may snap this provincial conference will actually be committing an offense that is dismissible. So we heard, therefore, that as much as they say 98% of the delegates are here participating in this ongoing conference, there's a number of others who have not showed up. And 5 of those are from the ANC Women's League. And it's important to underline this, the ANC Women's League, because, Baron, the leader of the ANC Women's League, who is the convener, as I said, she is in a position that's equivalent to the provincial chairperson of the ANC Women's League, that is Bitsa Lenkopane. She contested for the position of deputy provincial chairperson of the ANC in this conference, and she lost. Now she's among 4 ANC leaders who have written to the National Executive Committee officials of the ANC calling for the dissolution of this conference. Now, she did not come, and others also did not come to this conference. In the context of what Dakota Lekwete was saying, that those who do not come to participate, having been mandated, are committing an offense, we then had to ask what's going to happen. We had the convener of the NEC, Mr. Obed Bapela, saying that he or they actually received a message from Bitsa Lenkopane saying that her life is being threatened, and this is the reason why she is not here to continue with this conference. But others really did not give reasons why, but there's a number, about 50 or so, that they say have given apologies. But let's also listen to Pule Mabe, the national spokesperson of the ANC, who was saying that despite all these things that are happening, they are not going to stop the continuation of this meeting.
A number of activities during that extended break, including a court application to try and annul the entirety of the 9th Provincial Conference, which was dismissed by the courts. And we still believe that while others might want to punt a narrative that the case was dismissed only on agency, that even on merits we were prepared sufficiently. In fact, we were hoping that the judge would allow for the trial to proceed, so that we could be able to prove to everyone that processes of the ANC are watertight. So even if a new application is brought at a different court, we are still convinced that even another court, a higher court, constitutional court, will still make the same conclusion made by the, is it the Mafikeng or Mawato?
Mafikeng High Court.
Made by the Mafikeng High Court.
Now, talking about these court applications, we know that a group of disgruntled ANC members now went to the Constitutional Court, not necessarily to have the conference nullified, but to have these elected provincial top 5 disbanded, if I'm not mistaken. What did Mabe have to say about that?
Well, those disgruntled ANC members, in addition, are saying that the ANC must actually put in place an interim structure, because they would want the whole process of electing the new leaders to start afresh. But the ANC is saying, look, bring it on. We will actually defend ourselves in court successfully. Obed Bapela confirming that actually they have now been served with those constitutional court papers. However, we still don't know whether or when the Constitutional Court will allow direct access, but also when they will be sitting to hear this particular matter, because they wanted it to be heard on urgent basis. But also the other thing, Baron, is that you'll understand that some municipalities in this province have actually collapsed. You can talk of Disobotla municipality. It has not paid salaries of workers for this month. That's where you actually have 2 mayors, you have 2 chief whips, you have 2 municipal managers, and this is a municipality that is governed by the African National Congress. And the divisions that we are seeing playing out at this provincial conference are also playing themselves out in some of the local municipalities. Now, the provincial leaders of the ANC in this province are saying they have actually given their ANC councillors in that particular municipality 7 days to ensure that they have 1 mayor, they have 1 municipal manager, to do away with this, because this is all about motions of no confidence that are brought by opposition parties, and ANC members are voting with the opposition. In another municipality, Madibeng, there's another pending motion of no confidence in the mayor, and the provincial leaders are talking tough, saying that those who do not toe the line, as the ANC, they are going to fire them and call for by-elections, saying they would rather start and contest for power in those municipalities with people who will toe the party line. As we speak now, I'm sure you can hear delegates as they are singing in the background. The open session will be starting now, and we understand that, as we were told by Mr. Mabe as well as Mr. Bapela, the nomination of the additional members of the provincial, who must form the Provincial Executive Committee, will be happening today, and the elections thereof will also happen today. The expectation is that the announcement of those who will be elected would possibly be made tomorrow morning. One thing that the people of Northwest possibly would be watching with keen interest is that what will happen to the Premier Bushi Maape, considering the fact that he lost the contest to become the provincial chairperson of the ANC to the Nonoma Maloi, who is now the new chairperson of the ANC. The question is, will the delegates be magnanimous in their approach to say, let us elect him to become an additional member? If they don't, that would then mean that Bushi Maape would be the premier who is not structured in the structures of the ANC, as much as the provincial secretary is saying they have no intentions of firing him. They support him and his executive council. I guess we all wait to see if they will keep their word until the 2024 general and provincial elections. Baron?
That is quite interesting. It will be a case of waiting to see the outcome of the voting process, which will be kicking off very shortly after the open session. The nomination process will first take place, and then after which the voting will be taking place. But thank you so much, Moloko Moloto, there in the Northwest at the ANC's provincial conference. Of course, we heard earlier from the NEC deployee Obed Bapela, again calling for unity in the ANC, and he did mention that 318 branches are in good standing, and 599 of the delegates there will be taking part in the voting process. It's going to be quite interesting to see if Bushi Maape will be part of the newly formed PEC. Of course, we know the top 5 have already been voted for, but the rest of the PEC now needs to be voted for. Still to come